What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. Now, the last time I did a video like this with the WNBA and putting these parlays together, the comment section got absolutely hammered. You guys want to see more of this, and I'm here to give it to you. So in today's video, we're going to be building some same game parlays on this upcoming set of the WNBA. I'm going to teach you how to use Outlier to make this as smooth and easy as possible. And then hopefully the bet's good enough to win. That sounds interesting. Let's go. So Outlier, it's the tool that you need to use to make all this happen. If you're interested in checking it out, I've got a 7-day free trial in the video description below. You do not want to miss it. Go get it. Let's talk about the filters. You land on the props page. Firstly, the props that we're looking at: assists, points, rebounds, and 3-pointers. We're then looking at overs only. In terms of odds, we're looking at minus 500 to minus 140. If you're getting odds better than 140, you're probably best just playing it as a straight bet. For this strategy, we're taking some safer plays and we're putting them all together. So I could even say 140 is a little bit too low, to be honest with you, but let's just start there. And then you also have to hit this button here. Show alternate lines. If you don't show alternate lines, you're just going to get the straight props. So you want to see the alternate lines to give you more options. So the first game we're going to look into is the Aces versus the Liberty, and then we'll see where we go from there. So first thing you want to know, when there's a whole lot of green, it means the hit rate is good. When the opponent rank is green, it means the matchup is good. So I'm not too strict around what I'm looking at here. I just want to find a play that I do like, and we can make some adjustments there if we need to. Let's take a look at Jackie Young firstly. It doesn't have to be 7.5 points. Well, it won't be for me. So I know for me, my books, the alternate line that I'll get is for 10 points for Jackie Young. Now, looking at 10 points for her, she's covered in 7 out of her last 10, averaging 10.8. In head-to-head matches against the Liberty, she's covered in 10 out of her last 12, but this season, 2 out of her last 3. Now, 2 playoff games against Seattle, 12-9. I think she'll go for. I think she'll get 10 points for sure. But am I that confident that she will get it to add to my parlay? I don't think so. So I'm passing on Jackie Young, but you can take a look at that if you want to. What about Jackie Young to make 1 3-pointer? That could be an interesting look. So she's hit a 3-pointer in 5 straight games, 8 out of her last 10, and she's hit one in 10 out of 12 games against the Liberty, and 2 out of the 3 games they played this season. The game she didn't hit one, she played 32 minutes, and she was 0 from 4. On the season, she's shooting threes at a 35% clip on 5.5 attempts. In her last 10 games, she's taking 4.4 attempts per game. Liberty, top 4 in terms of 3-pointers allowed. Minus 1 at 475. I don't know if I could take this, but it's an interesting one. Jackie Young probably gets 10 points, probably gets a 3-pointer as well. I just wasn't man enough to go there. Kelsey Plum, 15 points. I can definitely get that line. Minus 170. 7 out of her last 10, and in head-to-head matchups, she's hitting 2 out of 3 this season, 8 out of 12 against the Liberty overall. And I can't take the 15 with that much confidence, being honest with you guys. What else do we have? Lainey Hamilton. Nope, not looking at that. Chelsea Gray and her assists. So you can go 5.5 assists, but you can even four assists would be really safe. But it's not showing here. But I'll have to check the odds to see what types of odds I can get for 4 assists. But she's averaging 6.1 in her last 10 games. She's hit 4+ assists in 9 out of the 10. Head-to-head matchups, both games this season against the Liberty, she had 6. If being honest with you guys, I like 6 assists, but I'm being a bit of a coward for this one because I really want to hit it. So I think Chelsea Gray assists, honestly, are a good look. I'm just going to see what types of odds we can get for 4. 4 would be great. Even 5. 5 would be a great number too. So 4 assists for Chelsea Gray. Those odds aren't great at all. Makes sense why they're not being offered. So for Chelsea Gray, I'm getting minus 800 odds for her to get 4 assists. And fair enough. It feels like an absolute lock. 4.5, we could get minus 137. So this, I could definitely get on Bet365 though. I could be entertained by that. 5 assists in 8 out of her last 10 and in 9 out of her last 10 games against the Liberty and in both games this season. Now, I think she gets more than 6 assists in this game, but for the purpose of this exercise, we're trying to be a little bit safe with it. But I'm going to go ahead and lock that in as my first leg. Chelsea Gray to get 5 assists. All right, what else do we have popping up here? Kelsey Plum to get over 2.5 rebounds. It's been doing quite well in her last 5, if that means anything. 4 out of her last 5, she's covered this rebound line. 6 of her last 10. 2 out of the 3 games against the Liberty this season. She's probably going to play extra minutes because it's the playoffs. Probably not, actually. So I don't think I can get Kelsey Plum to get 3 boards. Brianna Stewart. Let's take a look here. 17.5. Wonder what 15 points for Brianna Stewart plays. Probably nothing, but let's take a look. Getting minus 455 for Brianna Stewart. Minus 137 here. Minus 430 and minus 500 on DraftKings, but Prize Picks has her down low. She might be a goblin or something like that. But Brianna Stewart for 15 points. Let's work it off that. 7 out of her last 10 games. And in head-to-head matchups, 2 out of 3 against the Aces this season. But this is the playoffs after all. And in the playoffs, I'm going to play a ton of minutes. So let's look at her games this season where she's played at least 32 minutes. Brianna Stewart's covered 15 points in 22 out of 29 games. I don't see how she doesn't get 15 points, if I'm being honest with you. This is such an important game. This first game against the Aces, the Liberty won by 8. Sabrina went crazy in that game. No, Jonquil Jones went crazy in that game, actually. So Brianna didn't have to get wild with it. So 15 points, honestly, I don't mind that for Brianna Stewart. The odds aren't terrific, but it makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and add it. Brianna Stewart for 15. Next, what are we taking a look at here? Jonquil Jones and her rebound. So she's rebounded extremely well against the Aces. I know that's for sure. For what she's done against the Aces, look at that. Over 7.5 rebounds in 11 consecutive games against the Aces. Just crazy. Over her last 10, she's hit this in 5 out of her last 10. So I think on Bet365, I could definitely take her for 7. So 7 boards would be nice. So I add Jonquil Jones for 7 rebounds. I wouldn't go any higher than that. 7 boards for Jonquil. So just those 3 bets so far. Chelsea Gray 5 assists, Brianna Stewart 15 points, Jonquil Jones 7 rebounds. We're at plus 100. So it's not too bad. I don't mind that at all. I'll show you guys a screenshot of the slip and everything anyway, straight after this. We then have Jonquil Jones and her points. I don't know if I could get down with these points, though. She's hit 4 out of her last 10. She can't even get to 10 points consistently. And head-to-head against the Aces, 34, 10, 15 this season. But she does get a little bit flat with them sometimes. So, yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing for Jonquil's points. We then have Chelsea Gray to get 4 rebounds. This looks good against the Liberty, but over her last 10, it's been somewhat inconsistent. So I'm not ready to dance with the Wolves on that one. And actually, what I'm going to do, look to just see, I'll just go through these player by player, to be honest. Might be a bit quicker if I do it this way, because a lot of books aren't offering alternate lines this way. So at least I know I can alter whatever lines I want. So Sabrina to get 5 assists, 9 out of her last 10, but under in 2 straight games against the Aces. So I don't like that. Points at 17.5. Struggling as a late against the Aces. 1 out of her last 3, but 4 of the last 12 against them. In her last 10, hasn't been scoring consistently. Rebounds to get 5, 6 out of her last 10, and doesn't rebound consistently against the Aces either. So I don't think there's anything that we'll find on Sabrina. What about Asia Wilson? She's a beast, right? She's consistent as hell. 20 points, 9 out of her last 10 games. She had 20 points in all 2 games she played against the Liberty this season. So I think Asia for 20 points I can get down with. That seems like a fair leg to add. All right, we're at plus 155 with Asia there. Let's take a look at her rebounds. Her actual line's at 10.5, but we're not playing actual lines for this one. Looks like 7's not going to pay much, so I'm going to have to settle for 7 or 10 by the looks of things. 7's going to be too low. 10's probably going to be a little bit too high for me to take. This season, 16, 9, and 11 for Asia Wilson. So Bet365 don't offer 8 rebounds. 7 or 10 are my options, and I don't like either one of them. So I'm going to have to pass on that. Let's check Jackie Young's assists. What's going on here? 3.5 assists, 8 out of her last 10 games. And in head-to-head matchup, 6, 3, and 3. So Jackie Young for 3 assists, perhaps. Minus 525, so those odds aren't the best. But it's a very safe play there. Not bad. I'm at plus 210 at the moment with those 5 plays. Jackie Young can rebound as well. Does she have any consistency in rebounding, though? Not against the Liberty. Hasn't rebounded well against the Liberty at all. Rebounding very good in the playoffs, but hasn't got it done against the Liberty. So we'll pass on her. What about Kelsey Plum's assists, actually? We checked her points. This is her 3-pointers. She's hit two 3-pointers in 9 out of her last 10, and she hit it in all 3 games against the Liberty this season. So I'm assuming 1 3-pointer is not going to pay much at all. Actually, 2 3-pointers is pretty juicy. Yeah, 2 3-pointers is pretty, I wouldn't say it's safe, but it's got a good hit rate. All games against the Liberty this season, 9 out of 10 games. On the season, she's hit this in 35 out of 40 games. Yeah. I rolled with Kelsey Plum to get 2 3-pointers. She good. I wanted to look at her assists, though. There's a lot of threes. But even if you take the at 2.5 assists, there's still a lot of games where she's had 2 and inconsistent against the Liberty as well. So we're not down for that. Just thinking, is there any Brandon Stewart's rebounds didn't come up for me? Let's see if there's anything on the rebound side. Her rebounds in the last 10 games have been inconsistent as hell in head-to-head matchups. She got 7+ rebounds in a lot of games. So we could look at Brandon Stewart to get 7 boards, I think, because this is the playoffs. A lot of this shit doesn't matter too much to me. But against the Aces, your girl's rebounding. She's going hard. She's going to play a lot of minutes. Shooty's going to be there. So I think Brandon Stewart to get 7 boards. Not a bad look. We've got Jonko Jones for 7 boards already. We can get Brandon Stewart as well. All right, I'm sharing with you what I've got so far for this game. And my first thought is that we've got too many here. This just seems ridiculous to me. So if we can drop this down, I think let's go through these and eliminate them one by one. Well, I'll eliminate them. You just get to listen and watch. But if you go for 5 assists, I love that. Brandon Stewart for 15 points. I don't love it, especially given the odds. So I'm going to get rid of that one. Jonko Jones and 7 rebounds and Brandon Stewart 7 rebounds. Those 2 things aren't sitting well with me. Now, Jonko Jones, probably the more consistent rebounder, and she's rebounded extremely well against the Aces. Brandon Stewart has rebounded well against the Aces, but she's been inconsistent as of late. So we might fuck Brandon Stewart off. We then have Asia Wilson for 20 points. That hits extremely well. In all games against the Liberty, so we can keep that. Jack Young to get 3 assists. That seems like a great leg. And Kelsey Plum 2 3-pointers. I think that's Kelsey Plum 2 3-pointers I'm happy with as well. So this is at $3.20. That is $2.20 for those of you in the US. So that's going to be the first play. I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to build one for the next game as well. So we'll probably play 1 in each game. Hopefully, if we can find some juice. And then we'll do 1 with these combined. And hopefully, we just cash out. All right, we're looking at the Sun versus the Lynx. Now, let's see what we can find right here. So, Alana Smith, 2 assists. I know not going to be available. Assists, we're looking at 3, 5, 7, and 10. Same as rebounds. Points, I think we can go 10, 15, 20, 25. So, what's one that pops up to me? I think we should go through this player by player, actually. It might be quicker if I do it like this. So, Alana Smith, let's take a look at these rebounds. I'm looking at 3 or 5 rebounds. See where the consistency is. So, she had 3+ rebounds in 9 straight games. In head-to-head matchups against Connecticut, all 3 games this season, she's cleared her 3 rebounds. And a few of them last year as well. So Lana Smith for 3 rebounds. I wonder if the odds are going to be any good for that, though. No, her markets aren't even available on Bet365. I should have checked that first. So I've only got Nafisa Collier, Courtney Williams when it comes to rebounds. Alana Smith, we can get her points all the way down to 5. But she doesn't do any of this consistently. Well, 10, 14, and 9 against Connecticut this season. Her line is at 9.5 though, so I'm not all too interested in playing Alana Smith. We can pass on her. Get through these Minnesota first. Bridget Carlton. Maybe we can look at 3-pointers, perhaps. Hasn't shot 3-pointers well against Connecticut though. So 3-pointers, she's hitting 8 out of her last 10 games. This against Connecticut 1, 4, and 3. So she has been making them okay, actually. 3-pointers. I wonder what 2 3-pointers looks like for Bridget Carlton. Problem here is the matchup's tough. Connecticut don't allow too many 3-pointers. And I don't even have her market here. Bloody Bet365, the dogs. Who do we have? I know we have Courtney Williams. Let's take a look at Courtney Williams. Her points line's at 10.5. Even if you take her for 10, I'm not all too confident. 19, 12, and 8 against Connecticut. Even her assist prop, 2 games 6. and then one with 12. So I think 5 assists here for Courtney Williams could work. Taking that over 4.5. So that's definitely something I'm willing to dance with. Okay. Let's say Courtney Williams for over 5. Give me that. Who have we got? Let's look at Nafisa Collier. Now, I don't want to take any bets. Fuck it. I'll take every bet that's available. I'm not going to lie to you. So, over 17.5 is minus 450, which is not good. Because if I look at 15 points for Nafisa Collier, nah, there's no point betting on that. So, if you were going to do a bitch-ass parlay on Nafisa Collier, you'd have to look at 20 points in head-to-head matchup. Somewhat inconsistent, you would say. I'm already taking her over on a full points prop, so I don't want to double dip and take more risk on. Let's look at her rebounds. 8.5 against Connecticut, 11, 6, and 6. And in her last 10, yeah, again, very consistent. She's not giving us too much to work with right there. Who else is in there? So we can look at Connecticut. I've got a lot of odds available for her. Alyssa Thomas. We'll check. Maybe 10 points perhaps for Alyssa Thomas. I do like that. Let's see what we're working with here. So she's hit in 4 straight games, but 5 out of her last 10. In head-to-head matchups, though, check that out. 10 straight games against the Minnesota Lynx with over 10 points. Easily 18, 13, and 18 this season. So let's take Alyssa Thomas for 10 points. Let's take a look at her assist now. Assist line's at 9.5. We shan't be taking that. 5+ against Minnesota in every game, but you're not going to get good odds for 5+. 14 and 10 in her last 2. And in her last 10, looks like 7's a sweet spot. Over 7 assists in 10 consecutive games. But 7 assists, I don't know if that's going to pay too much. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. So, but looking at the 3, Courtney Williams, 5 assists. Alyssa Thomas, 10.7 assists, plus already. So we might keep her assists in there for now. Her re-up, I know, doesn't look good, so I'm not going to waste time jumping into that. Brianna Jones, potentially her rebounds. Let's take a look. So, 8 out of her last 10, she's covered 3.5 in head-to-head matchups against Minnesota, 6, 5, and 8. What I'm thinking about here is taking over 4.5 rebounds. 67% rate on the year. Good matchup, though, against Minnesota. She's been hitting 5 quite well. So I think 5 rebounds for Brianna Jones I can probably mess with because I don't like Alyssa Thomas's chance to rebound here. The Fever, they played way too quick for Brianna Jones. So she pretty much got played off the court. This Minnesota Lynx team plays as slow as the Connecticut Sun. So I think that suits her. But at the same time, I don't have rebound prop available for Brianna Jones. Excellent job, Bet365. All right. Who do I have props for? I know I got props for Sweet Bonner. Let's talk about Bonner. If we look at her points, we can't even see 10 points consistently here. Head-to-head against Minnesota, somewhat consistent. 9 points in their last matchup, though, in 31 minutes. That was post the Mabry trade, and her points haven't been consistent since then, so we have to pass on that. Her rebound line's at 5.5, 5 out of her last 10. 3 rebounds, not very consistent with either, and not consistent against the Lynx. So we're not liking Bonner to score or get rebounds. Check out Dejanay Carrington. See what 10 points looks like for her. Now, she's had 10 points in 6 out of her last 10 games. 14 and 10 against the Fever. Against Minnesota, 8, 17, 15 this season. So it's not screaming out consistency. Her rebound line is at 4.5. She has had 3+ rebounds in 4 straight games against Minnesota, though, including the 3 games this season. In her last 10 games, 3+ rebounds in 9 out of the 10. So can I get her for 3 rebounds? I cannot. When in the world do I have more maybe props than freaking Dejanay Carrington? Okay, we're going to pass on her. 365 ain't playing nice. Let's look at Marina Mabry. All right, so if I was to look at 10 points for her, the odds are terrible. But 9 straight games, she's had 10+ points. And in head-to-head matchups, 4 out of her last 5 games against Minnesota, she's been in double figures. Played Minnesota twice this season. Once as a member of the Sky, she scored 11. And once as a member of Connecticut Sun, where she scored 13 points in 29 minutes, 5 of 14. So she didn't shoot that well, but did more than enough to cover this. So Marina Mabry at 10 points could be an addition. Let's put her in there anyway, and then I'll show you guys where we land. So we had 5 bets in the Aces game. We've got 4 at the moment for this Connecticut one. We'll see if we can find some more. If we can get similar odds for 5, then we're looking pretty good. Assists against Minnesota this season, 2 games with 4 assists against them, and in her last 10, she's 4 assists in 7 out of her last 10, 3 assists in 8 out of her last 10. Now, will there be many assists to go around is the question. But Marina Mabrey for 3 assists, I could get behind it. It would be sweaty though. Marina doesn't necessarily create for others, but 3 assists, she's hit very well. She's hit 3 assists in 33 or 42 games, a 72% hit rate, and she hit in the 2 games against Minnesota. So I don't hate it, but there could be something better out there. Marina Mabrey to get 2 3-pointers, perhaps. She's hit 2 3-pointers in 8 straight games, and she's hit 2 3-pointers in 4 straight games against Minnesota. So I actually feel more confident in those 3-pointers than I do about these assists. Not gonna lie to you. The hit rate on her assist is great though, but I know she's gonna make throw on 3-pointers. I don't know what she's gonna do in terms of those assists though. At the same time, those 2 3-pointers, they correlate with the 10 points, so you don't get much better odds for adding them. So I'm probably going to pass on the 3-pointers. We'll keep her 10 points in there. What about rebounding? She rebound well at all. Lines at 3.5. We can get her at 3. She's had 3 rebounds in both games against Minnesota. In her last 10, though, not that great. No, not that great at all. I'm just checking to see if there's anybody else. We've got Kayla McBride. We can take a look at Kayla. What's she be doing? Check out the points prop for Kayla. So I'd be interested in taking her for 10. She's hit 10 plus points in 8 out of her last 10 games. Against Connecticut, let's go. She's hit 10 plus points in 10 out of 13 games against them, including her last 8 games. So Kayla McBride for 10 points. Welcome to the team, my love. Right, cool. So our bitch-ass parlay is probably set. Let me share it with you. Let's talk about it. So in this second game, Courtney Williams for 5 assists, covered all 3 games against them this season. Alyssa Thomas, 10 points, 7 assists, great cover rate against Minnesota, maybe 10 points, covering well as of late, and also in the games against Minnesota, and same as Kayla McBride. I think 80% hit rate in the last 10 games, and 8 straight games against the Connecticut Sun with 10 or more points. The way that I would play this, I'm not going to put a full unit on them, because that is crazy. We're going to put half a unit on each of these players. And then we're going to put a quarter of a unit on both of those together, right? So what that means is we'll get 1.1 units profit in the first one. We'll then get 0.87 units profit on the second one. So close to 2 units profit from these 2. And then if this sucker hits 2, we'll get another 2 units. So if all this cashes, we have potential to get 4 units of profit, and we're only betting 1.25 units. So I'll screenshot this now, so I can get this out to my guys in VIP nice and early, so they don't have to watch the full video. Screenshot that. But I hope these bitch-ass parlays bring home some W's. I'm somewhat conservative with them, but it's taking half a unit on each, just for a little bit of fun. I know a lot of you guys like betting this way as well. So I do hope you liked it. Let me know in the comment section, what are your thoughts? Did we miss something? Would you have added something? Would you have taken something out? Are you riding this? Are you moving lines? I want to get your opinions on this. If you're serious about making profits, my other video is probably better suited to you, but I know this one's it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Getting to track all of these players as the games go is going to be a load of fun. But look, I appreciate you guys if you took the time to watch this whole thing. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Best of luck to us. Peace.